Hi guys, you're watching CryptoDealers YouTube channel. My name is Rudian and today my guest is Ben Fairbank from the Komodo platform. Hi Ben.
Hello guys, thanks for having me.
Thank you for your time. So Ben, could you please tell me about yourself and the work that you do in Komodo?
Yeah, sure. So I am a massive crypto enthusiast, got into it a few years ago, transitioned across from real world. I was the CEO of some multinationals and some bigger real world companies and wanted to get into the blockchain space and was looking for the right type of a project, and Komodo was the only one that really sort of grabbed my attention. And as a result, I joined in December of last year, and since then I've been looking after the management of the general business and the operational side of things.
Okay, so you do, as I understand, you do most of the business communications, partnerships and things like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So my job's to work out who we can work with and how we can basically get that more the adoption, basically, to make sure that more people know about Komodo and what Komodo is all about.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to express my admiration for your work, because you guys collected a very small amount of money compared to relative to the ICO market, but made a very cool product. And 2016 was not a year of hype projects like last year, for example, but it was for me, it was a year of real crypto enthusiasts. Can you tell me more about, in details, about that time, how it was?
Yeah, I think back then it was more sort of, we hadn't really reached that gold prospector stage yet, and it wasn't as a speculative market. It was more for the enthusiasts and people who really believed that blockchain could have a significant impact on, all aspects of the world. So there was a lot of people that would sort of got in at that era and had grand visions, and realistically the projects didn't need to raise a huge amount of money, and to be honest, I think a lot of the projects in 2017 probably didn't need to raise as much money as they did as well. You didn't need to. You just had to have a very good idea, and you had to have a very good team, and you had to be committed to the cause and to make sure that you could follow that through and see it through, which is something that Komodo's proudly done.
Yes, that is right. If I haven't missed anything, your super feature is HyperDex exchange with support of atomic swaps. And can you tell, how do you think, how big of a role do this HyperDecks and atomic swaps play for the crypto economy?
Yeah, look, I think we've got a lot of different features to the platform. Obviously, the Hyperdecks and the Hyperdecks being one of those. Atomic swaps is crucial because now we can do swaps between about 95% of the tokens or coins on the market, which is significant. So it means that it makes it a lot easier for decoupling. But the transfer and the swap is an integral part of the ecosystem for sure. As you would be aware, we also have the privacy feature for the sending. We also have the security feature as well, which is the delayed proof of work. But I think also the scalability is something that we're really trying to focus on, and that's something that differentiates us because of the fact that we don't have a lot of the scalability problems that other platforms would have due to the way that we're structured. But as far as the Hyperdecks and as far as the atomic swaps are concerned, decentralized exchanges, as you know, are yet to gain the traction that they probably will in the near future. So it's something that we do have available and we're looking to continually improve. But as of yet, it is still being modified, developed, and it's being enhanced to make sure that we can sort of attract the liquidity providers and the market makers across.
Yeah, and talking about decentralized exchanges, when do you think its finest hour will come? And do you think it will come at all in like this very big format?
Yeah, look, I think, to be honest, again, the centralized exchanges are sort of going through a little bit of a change period now, and that's due to the fact that There's a debate on whether utility versus security tokens. So we're seeing the birth of security exchanges just sort of forming and coming about now. So the decentralized exchanges can house all of the coins and tokens, whether they're security or utility based. So ultimately, I believe that the time is near for the decentralized exchanges to really have their time in the sun. I think it's very near.
Okay, and how can you comment on the trend of delisting anonymous coins?
Yeah, look, that's where we're kind of lucky. We haven't been affected or impacted by that due to the fact that privacy is only one of the small features of the Komodo platform. So it's not as though we are strictly or just a privacy coin. So therefore, it hasn't impacted us as negatively as it has some of the other projects. However, in general, on the privacy coins and tokens, there will always be a need for those. And as regulation sorts itself out, I'm sure they will, the ones that were delisted will easily find a home and a place to be traded. And most of them already have.
Okay, we have been watching our channel, and our team have been watching and following Komodo for a long time, and we've been publishing news about your updates, and we're like looking forward to move and adopt your project in our community and CIS countries. I want to share my observations, judging by the comments under the last video. And you have a fairly active Russian-speaking community. Did you know about that?
I did know that it is developing, and I did know that it is something that has become a greater focus over the last year or so for sure. But yes, it is something that we are aware of.
Are you planning to visit like some CIS countries, and if yes, which ones?
Yeah, well, we do get invited, and as you would know, Russia obviously has a burgeoning scene, and there's more and more conferences coming up. So it's just a matter of timing and making sure that we can facilitate that, because as you would imagine, we're not as big a team as, going back to your earlier point, in 2017, a lot of projects raised a huge amount of money and can have massive teams. Mm-hmm. We've got a relatively small team, and we're focused on sort of trying to get through our objectives. So that's why we're not as present at a lot of these conferences as some of the other projects are. But it is definitely on the agenda and on the calendar, and it's something that we'll look at doing in the very near future.
Okay. The very near future, you mean like 3 to 6 months? Can we think about that?
Yeah, well, I think the frequency of these the conferences in Russia has actually improved, and it has they're happening more and more often. So I'm negotiating and speaking to a few of them now. It's a matter of which one sort of allows us to best showcase what Komodo does. Because the lure is to go to every conference and to just try and promote the platform, but ultimately our job isn't, or our mindset isn't just to sort of market this as much as we possibly can and sort of sing from the rooftops. We want to make sure that our audience is targeted and that we're actually talking to the people who are going to be the end users of the platform. So it's a matter of finding a conference that does allow us to be able to actually really showcase the technology that we have. Okay,
and together with all of this, are you planning to list on local exchanges and put some, region coordinators, something like that?
We always are on the lookout for ambassadors, and we do have ambassadors in most countries around the world, or at least representatives of regions. So we do look at continually having ambassadors and people who can actually act as a liaison for us in the countries where we're not present. And I mean, being a decentralized project, it's extremely important that we do have that coverage in each region of the world. So we are always open to working with ambassadors for this decentralized project, for sure.
Okay, great. So, crypto-anarchism or crypto-realism?
That's a very good question. I think anarchism.
What does this mean to you? How can you explain this?
Look, I think, to be honest, I think the nicest way, because it probably does have negative connotations in some way, shape or form, and ultimately speaking, it's very simply put. It is a disruptive technology space, and therefore cryptocurrency, blockchain technology is disruptive. What we want to do is that the whole movement wants to make sure that we question and that people have the right to question the way that everything functions and the way that everything operates. And you don't want all of the power to be in the hands of a few. You want the people to be able to have power. So it's very important that access to the technology and access to what we produce is available to everybody without exclusion. So it's extremely important to make sure that we are continually making people think about the way things are done and teaching people that it's okay to challenge and to be disruptive and to try new things. That's extremely important.
Yes, that is right. Lastly, tell our subscribers what to expect in 2000 in the market, and especially from the Komodo platform.
Yeah, sure. Market in general, it's always very hard to tell because the honey badger is the king, and the market does what Bitcoin says it should do. I think that the market may well progress towards the end of the year, but it looks like it's going to be another couple of months before we really sort of get that. We get those concessions that we've all been waiting for. But I do expect a much stronger finish to the year after perhaps a dip back first. As far as Komodo is concerned, we have a few real game-changing things that you may be aware of as far as the crypto conditions contracts, and they're much more of a smart consensus type of contract. But this will be something that you'll hear more about when we're ready to release those. But it is essentially giving Komodo what we set out to do and making sure that the platform is more complete. And once this is in place, realistically, Komodo can actually be a one-stop shop, and it can be the platform that you can go to for absolutely everything you could need in the blockchain space.
Okay, can you give some timeline of when for us, for the supporters and followers, to look for these big changes, approximately?
Yeah, look, it's something that we're working on, and if you come across to our Discord channels, it's something that we're continually talking about and discussing. That's the good thing about the Komodo platform, is that anything that we're looking at releasing is we always invite community members to make sure that they come and get involved, and that they're involved in the testing, and that they're involved in bug finding, and that they're involved in making sure that everything that we release works well. Developers can do a fantastic job, and our developers are amazing, but we always need testers. They're a very important part of the process. So we're continually asking for community members to come across and help us test our new products and help us test our new features. And therefore, once we've actually had that satisfaction and we've had the users give us the all clear and the green light, it is really that's when we sort of say that things are ready to go. But we're always developing and trying to improve everything that we have.
Okay, guys, this was Ben Fairbank from the Komodo platform, their general manager. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate
Thank you for
the
your time.
opportunity to talk on your show. Thank you.
Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel and share our videos. Bye.